Welcome on in, you rascals. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could subscribe here, that would be great. And thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. The Jimmy Butler saga rolls on as today he had some more deets reported by the Miami Herald's Anthony Chang. Does a fantastic job, beat reporter for the Miami Herald. And he had an interesting addition to the Jimmy Butler saga where he had said that along with the 76ers, according to league sources, there are two other teams that have made it known in league circles that they would be willing to trade for Butler and sign into a max level contract. I'm no detective, and I have no sources on this, but I have made my prediction already on my radio show that I think I have here too. I don't know. You guys can keep up. Watch them both. You know, you guys keep up with what I say. But I fully expect that if Jimmy Butler were made available, one of the teams would be the New York Knicks. Just my guess. I would guess the New York Knicks based on the relationship with Tom Thibodeau, fit, Jimmy liking that market, them needing a big swing addition to their team, weakening the Miami Heat, them having the draft capital. It is, to me, that one makes a lot of sense. The other team, I mean, if I had to pull it out, I don't mean to get like boring on it, but I would say Lakers are probably the other team. Well, I would go either LA team because I'll put it like this. If Paul George leaves, then I could see it being the Clippers because Steve Ballmer, he doesn't care about money. And so I could see that being a match there. And then the Lakers are kind of the other one. They were talking about that on First Take today. Udonis Haslem was hilarious seeing like, what? He's like, I'm not going to let that happen. UD just, by the way, just continues to be excellent on ESPN. And it's got Magic Johnson shouting him out, which is pretty cool. What's pretty cool for Udonis. You know what's cool about it is Magic Johnson, delightful as he is, not great on television. You know, just kind of is nice to everybody. He doesn't really, you know, it's just like, hey, it's a delight. Magic Johnson's here. But Udonis, and it's one of the greatest players of all time. Udonis Haslem, champion that he is, but like he's really funny. He's really funny, and he's even like, it's just, you know, he was even talking where like Windhorst is trying to break down the Jimmy Butler situation. She goes, hey, we didn't ask for those details. Which I thought was, you know, he was just great. It's really cool to see UD doing what he's doing. And by the way, shout out to Dwyane Wade. It was made known today. D Wade is going to be working the Olympics, Paris Olympics, and is going to be working the games for Team USA. So shout out to the once best player on the Redeem team, Dwyane Wade, an absolute freak coming off the bench for Team USA. And helped carry the red, white, and blue to the gold and restored honor to the red, white, and blue. So we'll see what happens here when it comes to this team. But if I had to guess with the Jimmy Butler thing, I'm saying Knicks is one, Lakers, Clippers, with me leaning Clippers because they're going to lose Paul George, and I don't really think the Lakers have anything that he would want to trade for Jimmy Butler. So that's my guess. That would be my guess. The one thing that is interesting with the Jimmy thing, because if this does happen and the Miami Heat are doing this to kind of reset the timeline and get somebody, remember the report that came from Woj back before the play-in tournament about getting a star on Bam's timeline, is a bit of a fascinating thing to look at from the Heat's perspective of, are they not necessarily going for a title next year or stocking the assets and thinking that Bam and an all-star guard with their young pieces around there, do they truly feel like that can be the thing that takes the leap? Because we don't know that. You know, that's going to be the thing that's a little bit concerning. When I picture the Miami Heat adding a Donovan Mitchell or adding an all-star scoring guard, I've always pictured it with Bam and Jimmy. I haven't really thought about the scenario. I haven't really thought about the scenario of completely breaking those two off and just going younger. Not necessarily tanking, but just being like, no, Bam's our guy. This is who we're hitching the wagon to. The Jimmy Butler thing was great, but we're at our wits' end with it, right? Like it doesn't even have to be vicious, but just from Pat's perspective, the Arison's perspective, that, hey, it was tremendous. It was a great run. It's probably gone as far as it's going to go. Going from an 8 seed to the finals, and who knows if that's ever going to happen again. There was already talk about fatigue amongst everybody going into the year. And now, maybe being in that spot where both of them are there, maybe there is an element of, no, we are at the point where we want to hand the keys over to Bam Adebayo. And that, I'll tell you one thing, contractually, the way that Pat talked about Jimmy and the way that he talked about Bam was easily shown that when it comes to the dough, that's going to be the direction they're going to go, because they're going to give Bam, should he want it, the 3-year 165 extension if he doesn't want to punt and do it next year, hoping that he makes All-NBA. And then with Jimmy, yeah, it does feel like a balk at the max request is, which is why, I'm not saying where Anthony's getting his sources, but, I don't think it takes I don't think it takes great depth to say, hey, if you're not going to pay him, guess what? We know people who are going to pay him. And to create that leverage game, that scare tactic game. And then the other thing with Jimmy that I'm interested in all of this is, what does Jimmy Butler making a stink look like? Because he's an all pro player at that. We've seen what he was able to do with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I don't know if I picture him playing with the Skyforce at training camp and blowing out Bam, Tyler, Jović, Jaime, and Kevin Love, and Duncan Robinson, and doing it with, Alondas Williams and Jamal Cain and Cole Swider and Orlando Robinson. I don't know if that's, I don't think we're gonna get the 35-year-old sequel of that. And he's not a guy who's like James Harden. Like, he's not going to fat cat it. And I think from the Heat's perspective, they would think to themselves, well, you already kind of are coasting through the regular season at some points anyway. So that's going to be the interesting game of chicken that goes between these two parties. If it does get that dramatic, maybe this is getting all stood up and the Heat do wind up giving him his the extra year that he wants. But it is a fascinating time when you look at this. Whether or not he is here or isn't here, should this man return, who I'm going to get to here, I'm going to be excited to see what this individual looks like in a Heat uniform next year. If the Miami Heat, whatever triggers they can pull to get deals done, I don't love doing this because I really like Jaime Jaquez Jr. as a player and as a dude, and I think has a nice future in front of him with the Miami Heat. I think that the franchise would like to, build around him a little bit, and from a standpoint of, like, market around him, and think that he can contribute to winning. I think he showed that he was fearless last year, but there's something about a 6'11" Serbian fella who can rebound and pass. Didn't look overwhelmed physically defensively last year, though details, I think that they know he needs to sharpen some of those things up. But I'll tell you one thing he's sharpening up. And that's that those muscles in the off season. Because I was boots on the gram, dude. And, he's very adorable, this Nikola Jović, where he, like, puts on the baggy shirt and brate, can't see. But if you see this Serbian trainer that he's with, oh my God, the dude is building 2 Serbian pythons, getting ready for the Olympics. So very interesting to see what we're going to get from Nico in this upcoming year, to see what he is crafting that body into. So, I really, really want the Miami Heat to hold on to Nico. You know, nothing against Jaime. It's just like if it came down to you had to tell me you got to have one or the other, who would I pick if I only could if all right, here's the deal. You got Cleveland on the horn and they say, "We'll make this deal happen." You know, with Spida, but you got to give us one. Well, we'll let you choose. Like, I think I'm keeping Nico. I hope you didn't hate me, Jaime, because I think you're the best. Great hair. Grow the goatee back though. Oh man, something about strength and conditioning in Serbia that just like gets everybody excited for the upcoming season.